Hey, what is up, guys? Ivan here from getivan.com, and I'd like to welcome you to the newest update of my Quickstart SEO guide. So, step number one, identify your target keyword. So, for whatever page you're working with, whether it's your home page or whether it's email copy or PPC ad copy or a blog post, anytime you're writing something, you should always identify what you're trying to target in substance, like in terms of subject matter. Someone lands onto whatever this promotion is, and they're asking themselves, who is this? What is this about? Why do I care? How much does it cost? All these different questions, right? And so your keyword should be targeting the kinds of queries that people are going to be typing in, right, that are most accurate to the value of what you're trying to put out there. That in a way that sounds like common sense, but almost 100%, or maybe not 100%, maybe 90% of my clients that I consult with, they don't have the proper targeting in place. So if I'm selling golf clubs, for example, let's say I had an online golf store and I sold all kinds of golf products. Well, it would be tempting to say, hey, I sell all these golf products and therefore, check out our golf shop because we sell all kinds of golf products. And it would be tempting on every post to basically do that. But best practice is to, for whatever your page is, to target exactly that thing, that particular thing that page or that post or that ad or whatever that copy is about. So if I'm doing a post on the best golf clubs of 2018, then I need to be showcasing the best golf clubs of 2018, right? If I'm doing a blog post on golf shoes, then my H1 tags, my headers, and my call to action, everything on that page needs to be focused on golf shoes and the most long tail variations of golf shoe keywords, or ideally, and long tail variations that include shorter tail keywords that have bigger volume, so that over time, immediately you're ranking for, say, the best golf shoes online, and then maybe down the line you can rank for the best golf shoes, maybe somewhere down the line golf shoes. Obviously that's going to be competitive, but I'm just giving you an example. So keyword targeting is number one. Number two, without minimizing from the camera here, is identify your target audience. So for whatever the keyword is, you should try to determine who is the person that is purchasing this product. And if you're not, specifically selling a product, you're always selling something. That's the whole purpose of having a website. So who is it you're targeting with whatever information, product, whatever this may be, with this promotion that you're putting out there, right? And that's something that I definitely don't see, unless the nature of the niche that I'm consulting for is to a specific audience. And so, again, it's tempting to just want to be broad because, all kinds of people, whatever, purchase the product. But in reality, it's likely that a very particular archetype is drawn to whatever you're putting out there. And if you have a few variations, then you need to discuss those variations. For example, golf shoes for men, golf shoes for women, golf shoes for kids, right? And so you need to think about that too. You need to identify who your target audience is for whatever you're promoting, and you need to include them in your copy so that when they see that, you're speaking to them. And that immediately cuts down the difficulty of the conversion. Okay. So let's move on. Let's talk about number three, write a 300 plus word SEO copy based on that targeting. So that's exactly what it sounds like. And it doesn't have to be 300 words for, shorter things like ads. But if you're going to do blog posts, for example, or you're going to do, even homepage content, you can fit a good number of words into chunks as you're going down the page. And so it's not about the number of words. It's just about a certain standard of information that people expect with any given thing that they're landing on. And I would say at least 300 words is ideal. You can do more words, and there's good arguments for doing longer content. There's good arguments for doing shorter content. The argument for doing longer content would be that it keeps people on page longer, improves your bounce rate, and the longer you keep somebody in, the more basically the more you can break down their inhibitions through the sales process. But then on the shorter end of the spectrum, sometimes people, they don't want to deal with a lot of guff, right? And read a bunch of stuff. They just want a quick answer. And I definitely like that with a lot of things. I don't want to waste my time with a bunch of nonsense. I did a search, I came for an answer. Just give me the core of that answer. And so if I could add to that, I would say that when you think about it like that, you can actually do both. And there are some things where I do both, where I ask myself, what's the shortest path to the answer? Let's put that at the very top, and then what's the most detail we could do? Let's put that at the bottom so that we can satisfy both parties. So that would be best. That would be a really good way to go about it. I would say, if at the very least, just keep it simple and somewhere around 300 words, and then keep moving, right? More content is better than more content of an above average quality is better than very small amount of super high quality content, I think, because it just depends on how you promote the super high quality content. But I feel that territory in real estate, covering your ground is more valuable from an SEO standpoint than, hey, I just spent, a whole week crafting this artistic blog post, and it's not really getting the traction that I wanted to get, right? So that's a risk. So step number 4, add rich media and CTA, like images, videos, and buttons. So everything from this point to this point is all about copy, all about really marketing to the right people with the right words, and then creating the right information. Step number 4 is about rich media, professionalism, right? So when you see a video, immediately to me, it's a lot higher quality. It's more professional, right? And a lot of the times it's easier to watch a quick video, or it's also easy to scan quick copy, but there's a lot of people who are drawn to watching a quick video and then don't move on or make a decision, right? So I consider a video to be a conversion element, and images it depends on how you're using an image oftentimes just adds to the aesthetic pleasantness, of a post, but it can also add to the information, and it can also be a conversion element. So I recommend, it depends on what asset you're trying to build and what kind of niche you're involved in. I would say on average, I recommend 1 or 2 images at least. And if you have the capability, a video is always a good idea. In my business, obviously, I do a lot of videos. And so a lot of times I will just put a video and I won't even bother with an image unless it's really necessary, because from my standpoint, I don't need to add an image unless there's a reason, something useful that the end user can do with it. So it just depends on, though, and then the other thing was called CTA, which stands for call to action, i.e. buttons. So buttons or text. So you should always have a combination of images, videos, and buttons and text that are calling your end user to some sort of, taking some sort of action. Once they digest and process that information and that media, that they need to be not challenged, because that doesn't really sound right, but there needs to be a request for them to do something with everything that they've acquired from that promotion, because otherwise it's just text on a page, right? And if they're really if they're really pursuing a solution, then they may go, okay, where do I find a solution? Where do I find the shop? Where do I find the price page? Where do I find the contact page? And I'm going to make something happen. But most people aren't like that. You've got to give them something to do. Make it clear that you're ready for business in some capacity or another. You're ready to close the sale for whatever you brought them there for, right? And I think that's really important. And again, 99% of the clients I consult do not have very much rich media or any call to action. And so, part of the problem there is a lot of the clients I consult, they don't have posts. They're not creating content. So, you can't have call to action without content. Step number 5, ensure that your SEO silo is configured properly. So an SEO silo is basically internal linking. And there's a few easy ways that you can manage your internal linking strategy. Number 1 is having a plugin that in your theme or whatever your CMS you're using that says, click here to go to the previous or the next blog post. So any kind of link to another page on your site is internal linking, and you have some sort of silo going on when you have those in your content. The links in your header, the links in your footer, those are traveling somewhere, and if they're on every page, then you have some sort of silo going on, creating some sort of diagram, right, of link juice or link authority, right? And that would be one really easy thing to do. I do that on a lot of things, and that's good enough for me, I think, for many purposes. Another way to do it is to get a special plugin that does internal linking based on a keyword. So you can you can say, hey, every time this keyword appears, I want you to put a hyperlink to this post. And so that's one way to do it, really easy way to go about it. And then the third way to do it is just manually. So you can hyperlink a image, you can hyperlink some phrase on some text, right? You can just put the link on the page, right? And so those are the 3 most common ways I would say to deal with your SEO silo or internal linking. And a really easy old school method, commonly known method for using internal linking to boost your posts is to obviously you could use one of those methods, but doing a bunch of long tail posts, blog posts on long tail keywords, and then internally linking from those weaker posts to a stronger post with higher search volume. So really common method there. Step number 6, configure your post's metadata. So when you go and highlight a tab in your browser, you'll see a title for that page, and that's set by the metadata of your post. So for whatever program you're using, you just need to find where to assign the title and the description. The description those are the things that appear in a search engine. So you can I recommend configuring your description for important static pages like your home page. But I wouldn't waste a lot of time doing that on your blog posts if you're doing a lot of blogging, because it can take a lot of your time crafting, 2 sentences per post. You can, if you're a fast writer and you don't really care that much about being meticulous about the copy, then you can do that. Otherwise, you don't really need to set it because it'll automatically pull from the first snippet of content on the page. But you do need to configure your meta title, because your meta title is basically the advertisement for that page on search engines. So that's step number 6, configure your post's metadata. Step number 7, publish, promote, and syndicate your content on other sites. So obviously you publish your post on your website, you can promote it to the link to that site on other places like social media or other types of niche related sites where you can do guest posting or forums or whatever. And you can also do syndication to other assets that you have, like Tumblr blog, that you may have for your site, or a Weebly page, or even social media. So, and you can, honestly also, even through email marketing, promote your page, or paid ads, you can promote your page. But there's a distinct really difference between promotion or syndication and off-page backlinking, right? Everybody's obsessed with backlinking, but there's a really important distinction here that I want all of my clients to understand, and that's that backlinking is supposed to be the affirmation to Google that a page has been optimized for search engines. So SEO optimized, right? Pages of certain value or quality. SEO is not backlinking. Search engine optimization is optimizing a page so that it is of a certain quality that search engines will then rank that page. It's optimized and ready to go. And so SEO has to do with value. It has to do with the on-page content, with the link, with how you're linking, with how you're configuring the formatting with your H1s, 2s, and 3s, and what you're bolding and underlining. And, if you have a video, if you have images, if you are basically, if you have your metadata set up, right? That's SEO. That's having a page of a certain quality ready to rank in search engines. Backlinks are simply another layer of affirmation to Google that, hey, yes, this is of a certain quality because we found it and we just stumbled onto it, and we also agree that it's of a certain quality, so boost it up. And so a lot of people out there are focusing on backlinking. But what do you think Google thinks if they look at a page and it's a potato? Like it looks like just a spud, a dud, right? And then it's got all this, furious backlinking, right? Is anything going to happen to it? If anyone lands on the page, is it going to convert? So it's a lot more important to focus on your content and on ensuring that you're building a quality brand that is capable of ranking, and the rest will come. And that's why I focus on that. I focus on getting clients to a place where they're focused on real estate, blogging a ton, and then with a very minor amount of promotion, syndication, right? Putting yourself out there, then Google starts to pay attention to that. And so that is my approach to SEO. I've tried all kinds of things out there, and this works many times better than a lot of the other stuff out there that is still being pushed as, this is how you need all these backlinks and all this off page. And the truth is that you can do a lot of work in that space and nothing can happen. And in the end, you're still left with a potato page. So, and another reason is working with clients in different capacities. I started to find that this was by far the biggest problem with client SEO. Clients need to understand that you got to have your content in place, and there's just a lot of distractions, a lot of other people that are ranking with crappy sites, and clients can't seem to get past that, but if someone gives you, and it's funny because client in that situation is setting themselves up to be conned, because all someone has to do is say, hey, here's all the links that I built, and they don't have to guarantee that anything happens, right? And at the end, the client, if that doesn't rank for them, and I'm not saying this because it's happened, that's something that's happened with me, but it's a common story that I get from a client, by the end of that road for them, the client has received nothing. And so, I want to make sure that I'm getting a client to a place where they're SEO optimized and they're ready to rank, and there's a dozen ways that we can promote their content, but we need to get them to that place where they're ready to convert. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this quick start SEO guide, and I will catch you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.